evacuation. First they sent men with dogs to camp on the islands in hopes that their presence would scare away the gulls. However, that plan failed when the men's tents collapsed under the weight of the birds' excrement. Later on, they released several families of raccoons on the islands, the theory at least being that the raccoons would feed on the seagulls' eggs and thereby control their population. However, the plan failed too, and the raccoons made a hasty retreat, pursued by thousands of feathery inhabitants.
Nous allons maintenant passer entre les îles McNair et Murray Islands. Localement, les Three Sister Islands sont mieux connues sous le nom de Gull Islands, puisqu'elle était autrefois peuplée de plus de 30 000 nations. Mais voilà, le plan échoua aussi lorsque les ratons laveurs partirent en retraite, étant poursuivis par des milliers d'habitants.
What has impacted on the seagull population in recent years is the introduction of these black birds that we can see precariously perched on the dying limbs of the trees on McNair Island to our right. These are cormorants, a scavenger bird and relative newcomer to the islands, having first appeared here in only the last 40 years or so. Since that time, their population has exploded at a rate of 30% per year. This has raised the ire of many inland fishermen who are concerned about the effects of the birds on depleting fish stocks in the Great Lake.
Ce qui a eu un impact sur la population des goélands lors des dernières années est l'introduction de ces oiseaux noirs que nous pouvons voir dans
species of water birds. The cormorants' feathers absorb water, allowing them to dive to depths of 45 meters, where they feed on fish to the tune of 3 times their weight daily. While shunned in this area, these same birds are adorned half a world away in China. They're trained to dive and retrieve fish for commercial fishermen. In the distance to our right now, we can get a better view of Fulford Place Mansion. Down below at the water's edge is the original. Close proximity to the St. Lawrence River, the waterfront here was once a busy industrial center. A symbol of that bygone era still remains in the form of a railway tunnel that passes directly below Victoria Hall. This tunnel, the oldest in North America, was completed in 1859 and was built to allow the passage of trains through a distance of 1/4 mile under the city to a large railway yard then located on Blockhouse Island coming up on our right.
En raison de sa proximité avec le Saint-Laurent, le rivage de Brockville fut à l'époque un centre industriel très actif. Un symbole de cette époque révolue existe toujours aujourd'hui sous la forme d'un tunnel ferroviaire passant directement en dessous du Victoria Hall. Ce tunnel, le plus ancien en Amérique du Nord et complété en 1859, fut construit pour permettre le passage des trains sur une distance de 1/4 de mille sous la ville et atteindre le dépôt.
All along on our right here is the Canadian. All along on our right here is the Canadian mainland, where a few of the original cottages remain from when this was just a small cottage community out here. Case in point, that beautiful gingerbread cottage to our right. With the increasing value of waterfront property, most of the original cottages have long been razed to the ground in favor of year-long residences, new homes to many of Rockville's wealthier citizens.
À notre droite, tout le long de la partie continentale. Il est vrai que 8 km semble peu, jusqu'à ce que vous réalisez le fait qu'une seule goutte d'eau prendra plus de 10 ans pour partir des Grands Lacs, plus précisément de la pointe du lac supérieur, pour se rendre jusqu'à l'océan
That's where the red boat was going, honey. Oh, there's 2 of them.
Continuing along our route.
There's a dog, honey, right down the rock. Oh, there's a good slide. There you go, hon. Yeah.
You can sit like this, yeah, back to back.
now, we can see the boathouse and caretaker's residence of another beautiful island residence known as Kawasa. This one, just a summer residence built in part out of the signature rose granite rock quarried right here in the Thousand Islands.
Poursuivant vers la droite, nous pouvons voir le hangar à bateau et la résidence du gardien d'un autre magnifique domaine d'été.
The Thousand Islands are indeed nature's treasure trove. For example, there are over 240 species of birds that can call the islands home. The great blue heron is the largest of our wading birds and can grow to have a wingspan of over 2 meters. The herons were considered to be near extinction back in 1950, at which time it was put onto a list of protected species. Since that time, they have made a remarkable comeback, and they now flourish in the Thousand Islands.
Les villes sont en effet un trésor de la nature. Par exemple, gardez vos appareils photo à portée de main.
Their recovery is due in part to the efforts of Reader's Digest executive William E. Browning, who donated one of his islands to the birds that is now home to a rookery of over 1,000 of these intense and majestically proud birds. We frequently encounter one or more herons along our cruise route, so keep your cameras close at hand.
Oh, c'est vrai, hein, c'est vrai. Un petit peu. Penny Rogers, you're right. Oh, sérieux? Il mange. Ils ont la COVID. Ils ont la COVID? Non. Sérieux? Ça prend les photos de la lumière. Il est pas trop loin, il est pas loin. Non, c'est vrai. Il est loin de loin. Yeah, c'est beau.
Ahead of us now, over the bow, we can see McDonald.
Dans ce lieu se trouve l'épave d'une ancienne canonnière britannique reposant sous seulement 15 mètres d'eau au large de cette pointe. La plongée sous-marine est une activité populaire auprès de plusieurs résidents et visiteurs de l'île. Il existe plusieurs dizaines d'épaves importantes dans la
Salt and floats to canvas gunny shacks full of whiskey before proceeding onto the river. Then, if pursued by authorities, they would simply push their cargo overboard, which, under the weight of the salt, would quickly sink to the bottom of the river and be undetectable. Over the next day or so, strong shipping channel of the St. Lawrence Seaway now through what is known as the Brockville Narrows, one of the narrowest and most treacherous channels for ships as they make their way into or out of the Great Lakes. So treacherous is the channel at this point that ships maintain regular radio contact to monitor each other's location so as to avoid having to meet in the narrow confines of the channel here. The St. Lawrence Islands National Park, as it was originally known, began in 1914 with only 7 islands, including Stouffville, and since expanded to its present 23.
Alors que nous longeons le côté de Stouffville Island, Sparrow Island, situé à notre droite, s'avère un autre exemple d'île attenant à la ville de Brockville. Tout comme les îles du parc fédéral, Sparrow Island a, elle aussi, été consacrée à l'usage public. La seule différence est qu'on trouve des terrains de camping saisonniers, certainement la façon la plus économique de se jouer dans une île durant l'été.
Regions fishing, long considered to be the best freshwater sport fishing regions in North America. While home to over 170 species of fish, some of the more popular sport fish to be caught here include perch, small and largemouth varieties of bass, the great northern pike, pickerel, and the ever-elusive
Nous sommes sur le point de traverser le principal chenal de navigation de la voie maritime du Saint-Laurent, maintenant connu sous le nom de Brockville Narrows, l'un des canaux les plus étroits et hostiles pour les navires en provenance ou à destination des Grands Lacs. Il est si hasardeux de s'y aventurer que le capitaine maintient des contacts réguliers par radio afin de suivre le déplacement de chacun et éviter de se rencontrer dans cet espace restreint.
Eye of the Needle, you can get a close-up look at the exposed rose granite rock that make up the islands. This granite is some of the oldest exposed rock in the world. It dates back more than 3.2 billion years. You see, the islands are actually part of an ancient mountain range known as the Frontenac Axis that connects the Canadian Shield to the Adirondack Mountains of Upper New York State. These mountaintops only became exposed again at the turn of the last ice age. The glaciers retreated across the landscape, they scoured away much of the softer sedimentary rock, leaving behind these harder clusters of granite. Then the meltwater spilled over the sill of what is now Lake Ontario, winding its way through these mounds of granite en route to the Atlantic Ocean, thus forming the Thousand Islands, jewels of the St. Lawrence.
Au moment même où nous passons dans ce champ d'aiguilles, vous pouvez voir de plus près la roche de granit rose exposée dont constituent les îles. Ces rochers exposés comptent parmi les plus anciens au monde, datant de plus de 3,2 milliards d'années. Voyez-vous, les Moluques font partie d'une ancienne chaîne de montagnes appelée Axe de Frontenac, qui relie le bouclier canadien au mont Adirondack, dans le nord-est de l'État de New York. Ces sommets montagneux devinrent à nouveau exposés au tournant de la dernière période glaciaire. Au fur et à mesure que les glaciers reculaient à travers l'étendue, ceux-ci emportaient une grande partie du roc tendre sédimentaire, laissant derrière ces agrégatures de granit. L'eau fondue s'est ensuite déversée sur le rebord de ce qui est aujourd'hui le lac Ontario, se frayant un chemin à travers ces monticules de granit jusqu'à l'océan Atlantique, formant ainsi l'Émilie, joyau du Saint-Laurent.
Non, vous voyez, mais pas là. Moi, dans la voiture.